G'day everyone and welcome back to Starseeds Down Under. I'm Chris, your host. Thank you for joining me this morning. Sorry for the glare, I've got a bit of a bright light there, unfortunately. I'm still trying to get used to it and trying to get the angles all right. But just a bit of an update today for all of you. Now, just would like to apologise to everyone, first of all, because of recent events that have been happening for me personally that have affected my ability recently to be able to deliver to you what I've been promising. And that would be Mr. Dan Willis, who is coming to join us here at the Starseeds family to give to you a very full presentation. But the reasons why it hasn't happened yet is due to the fact that I've had a lot going on in the last few months, especially, that sometimes really do need our other attentions. And we sometimes have to just go out of the way and be of service to another and put on hold things that really, we'd love to do, but we know our attention is needed elsewhere. And that was, for me at that time, a few months ago when I first mentioned to everyone here that I was going to have Dan Willis coming, is that I had my sister and her partner and their flatmate, 2 doggies and an extra cat, move in with me. And now that was supposed to be for a period of about 6 to 7 weeks, but it ended up lasting till about 9. As I previously mentioned, I've taken away from it some beautiful things, some beautiful experiences, good and bad, but more so good than anything. And it's shown me a lot of things about myself that I didn't realize were still there, or things I didn't even know existed inside me that are there that came to the surface that actually allowed me to process and actually become more at peace with, okay? But also things that I didn't know that were still there that I could still use to my benefit to help others that I thought I'd switched off long ago. And that was a gift that I'd been given through my sister and her partner being here, just knowing that I was able to do that. So I would like to offer my apologies in that respect, because that did take 9 weeks of my time, and it really was very energetically testing in every way, in a sense, because sometimes when you have other people come with you and stay with you, sometimes their problems do become your problems because you're living in the same space. And energetically speaking, they can transfer from one to another. And because it is my sister, I care, okay? I love, okay? And I'm there for my family. And I have been constantly for the last 20 years, okay? Back and forth, okay? And I always had my door open in any way, shape or form to be able to be of service to my family and know that they have a roof over their head and a bed under their back if they need it. Okay? Not that there's any dramas that go on a regular basis. There's not, but the door is always open. And I've had my nephews come and stay off and on when they've needed me. I've had my niece come and stay, my daughter come and stay, my sister and her partner and their flatmate come and stay with 2 extra doggies and an extra kitty cat on top of me and my Bodie. He's asleep up there at the moment. His little tower of power. But it was something that needed my time. But it has also, taken a lot on me to do that as well, because I had to extend myself beyond my normal capabilities. As I said, I've been used to being by myself for 20 years now, the last 6 especially, more so of everything, especially in this place where I'm at now. But yeah, it's been a very long road of learning myself. And as Alex Collier likes to say, and it is true statement, it is a lonely road for the starseed. Okay, for the soul that's not from here, and taking on this journey, this path, it's not easy. And especially when you're living with family members that are, to somewhat degree, skeptics, it makes it hard when your office is in the lounge room and they have set up their own office space in the lounge room as well, because that's where her partner's office space is normally at. So respectfully, I had to expand myself and extend my room and make sure that he was accommodated for, and he had his space as well as I had mine. But at the same time, it makes it a little bit hard to be able to do podcasts and shows on subject matter, topic, having guests, etc., with people around, especially when you're sharing that same space. Okay, so really, end of the day, I didn't want to really seem rude or say, "Hey, go to your rooms" or whatever. I couldn't really do that. It's not me. It's not the sort of person I am. I could have organized and said, "Hey, look, I've got this coming up on this date and such. Hey, look, I have this space for this time." But at the same time, I also knew that it wasn't feasible for Dan either at that point in time, because even though I had my flatmates here, my sister and her partner and their flatmate, two extra kitty doggies and a cat, I also knew that Dan was preparing for GSIC 2024 in Denver. So at that time, everything seemed to correlate in a way that allowed us to do what we needed to do at that point in time. And now that GSIC is over in Denver, and Dan's back home, and my sister and her partner have moved into a new place, and I'm back on track and getting my health back on track as well. I'm now moving into a space where I'm actually in preparation right now for Dan. I've been in contact with him all morning. I've actually been sitting there chatting with him on Messenger, and yeah, we've also worked out a complete show for you all, presentation as such, based on things that my friends have been asking. Like basically, a few of my friends have even asked, what is the actual nature of this video that you're going to be doing with Dan? What's the actual subject going to be all about? And I've told them that originally it was about the matrix of the nature of reality, which is basically about geometric structures, the emertha, consciousness, its connection to crystals, etc., etc. Now, when I said all this to the several friends that had asked about this, I won't name them on camera because they're friends of mine, personal, and that's out of respect for them. But when I relayed to them the answer in respect to this, they looked a little bit puzzled on video. We were looking at each other, and I saw the facial expressions, and I realized then that maybe they're not as caught up as I am, or up to speed in this in relation to this information topic, as much as I'm up to speed with it with Dan, and would love it. And we're going to do a presentation on this. I thought to myself, hold on, what if they're not up to it and really kind of like, wow, can't take it in? What if it's too much? As much as I do believe at the same time that most people are ready for this. And it got me thinking. I thought to myself, what if we actually do something that incorporates that all together, but also incorporates the history of things regarding, our connections to our off-world brothers and how this all started, World War II, etc., bringing us up to today and our actual connections and what's going on with the off-world, brothers and sisters that have returned, pretty much, because they are our brothers and sisters. I can go into it if you want, but I won't. But it is all genetics. We share inherent DNA genetics with them, plain and simple. Okay, won't go into the whole doodah of it all right now, but I can and I will at any stage. No problem at all. I can actually argue this and with anyone hands down, and it aligns with most people, like Elena's, Danny's, and others' information, that even though we have no contact with each other, most of us are learning this in the last 20 years. How is it that all of us have come together and all of us have the same information and actually can corroborate and cross-validate and acknowledge each one as being true and correct with their information that they've researched? How is it that we're all right? Can't be all wrong. We all came together and found each other. And, that's really, really how I can't wait to be able to bring this to you, because our future is so important. It's unbelievable. I mean, I have a past, and I've gone on record before, and I'll say it again. I have a past that goes back here on planet Earth, that goes back at least 400 to 450,000 years. My soul, my consciousness, my journey here on Terra, Key. Okay. I understand that I was there at Iridu. I was there at the beginning. I have been validated also by Elena in relation to this as well. I could show screenshots right now if you want to, but I'm not going to, of conversations from a live chat where I've blocked out everyone else's conversations and just show my question or statement to Elena and having her response or reply. And I can show those right now to show that my memories, my consciousness, everything that I know of to be me, this soul, incarnated as Chris Sinclair now in this lifetime, has an actual history that goes back on Earth to Iridu. And that started for me in memories as a child playing in my sandpit, singing to Ia, Prince Ia, Enkidu. Yeah, singing Ia, Enkidu, Ia, Enkidu. And also singing Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes Trismegistus. We all know who he is. Okay, Tote. the Atlantean. Okay, so how is it that a 5-year-old, I'll reiterate it again, how is it that a 5-year-old back in 1978, whilst also having experiences with the Emertha, who are also Galactic Federation members, corroborated by Dan Willis and his information, how is it that I'm having memories at 5 years of age about people that haven't existed on the planet for over 400,000 years? Got to ask yourself that question. Shows you true that I am a true contactee and starseed soul. Okay, and I don't have to emphasize that anymore, but I am true, and I am bringing this information to you wholeheartedly, truthfully, from my experiences, and through that experience has led me to Dan over the last 45 years of my life, bringing to me now at 50 years of age this information that Dan and I both have found through our own experiences, cross-corroborating each other's. And that's why I reached out to him, so that I could bring him all to you, so that you can see that this information is true. It is our future. It is everything that we are working towards right now, and the fact that we are creating and manifesting and bringing into reality that future, that very future that we are looking forward to, that Star Trek future. Right now, we are working towards it and manifesting it, working together. You know, what's the word where we get to corroborate, you know, each other's work and actually collaborate together, cross corroborate each other's information through experience, and collaborate through those experiences to bring further information to you all. And this is what it's all about, is actually bringing it all together, giving you an overall picture of the whole. You know, we are just, you know, mere small pieces of the puzzle, co-contributing to the overall picture, to give you the experience of the watcher, the viewer, our audience, our loved Starseed family, all the information we could possibly give you. And so that's taken me a little bit of time, you know, because I had all these things going on, health ailments, as aforementioned. You know, I haven't been well. I've had things going on for me where, you know, because sharing a space as well with, you know, people that are vaxxed, we've learned about this during the last, you know, couple of years, what it does to us on a genetic level, and how it actually affects us ourselves, the unvaxxed, okay, on a health level, and what it can do to us, and how it can exacerbate present ailments that we already have going on inside to make us sicker. And I've had to go out of my way above and beyond since moving out to make myself back in line, and I'm still getting there. It's taking a lot. Actually, to be honest, I'm still getting there. But it's nothing against them. Look, work experience, you know, work and certain environments don't allow for people to, you know, didn't allow for people to have choice at one stage. And unfortunately, my family, as much as I had my own personal choice, they really didn't were given this. They had theirs made for them. You know, so at the end of the day, I can't judge. They are human. They unfortunately didn't know what they know now, and they see too now as well. So, you know, it's no one's fault, but it's actually by default. Okay. If anything, it's just one of those things. And I, being of one of those people who open my heart, my home, my doors, as I love my family, and I care about those in just general, people in general, I sacrificed to a degree my own health to make sure that my family had a home. Okay. And it's taken me a little bit to get back on top of it, but I promise you all, as you can hear it and see it, and, you know, smiling and glowing, speaking, walking, talking here in full, you know, form, that I am actually getting back on the ball, and I'm getting back to who I used to be. And, you know, and it's going to be awesome, because eventually, once I do, I'm going to be able to bring this beautiful Dan, this man, Dan Willis, our beautiful friend, an emissary to a fair degree here. I believe he is an emissary to a fair degree as well, and brother to all of us, the information that he brings, not just historically in relation to what he knows, and also from personal experience, but also from his time in the U.S. Navy and all that he's researched in the last, you know, well, I should say 23 years, especially since appearing in the Washington Press Club with Dr. Stephen Greer, all that he works on now behind the scenes, and all the information that he brings in relation to the Galactic Federation and new technologies, crystal technologies, and being entrusted with that information by the Galactic Fed, and through Elena and through Dr. Salla and all that they do and work together. This man is tirelessly tirelessly working diligently behind the scenes with all efforts, going into everything that he does through, with love, to bring us what he does, what he knows. Thank you, Dan, and I cannot wait to actually be able to bring him all to you, my beautiful audience, when we get together shortly. I mean, as I said, in the process, I've been writing down my questions this morning and everything like that in my bio for him, and the actual his career, and that brings me to my next part right now, is actually when I get to involve you, the audience, my beautiful audience. I've run this by Dan, and he actually thinks it's a bit of a great idea as well, that I asked for your input in relation to our presentation, because we're, as you know, some of you are actually informed enough to know about Dan's work and what he does, and some of you, unfortunately, are not. But this is going to be a great learning curve for everyone at the same time. So, any of you that have any questions that are on your mind in relation to his work, or anything that you'd like to ask in general in relation to stuff that he's already presented in the past, would you like to please drop your comments down below for me, so that I can actually present them to Dan, and we can actually go through them and choose out the best four out of all the questions that come in, and we'll actually present them on screen, and I'll actually read them out for Dan, and you, the audience member that has presented that particular question, I'll read your name out on screen as well, out of respect. Big it up, okay? Because we believe that's, out of respect and love for you, because you've taken the time to actually ask a question, because it helps you on your journey through your audience and having knowledge and understanding, or it should say understanding, knowing, okay? We've got to lose that word, understanding. We've been trained to use that word so much. Can't stand it. See, can't stand it. But yeah, I think this is going to be a beautiful thing for you to be able to do, and being able to interact in a way that brings you closer to me, Chris, your host, and to Dan as well. So what are your thoughts on that, everyone? Please drop your comments below and questions, okay, in the comments box, and as many as you have, and let me and Dan go through them all, and we'll choose out the best four and present you on screen with your name scrolling across the bottom with your question and everything like that, okay? So that is what I'd love you all to do. So that's where I'd love to give it, my personal, say on what's going on right now, and actually give you my, reiteration of how things have been going for me lately, and give you an update as to how, where I'm going and what's coming up next. And these are the reasons for why it hasn't quite gotten there yet. And I do apologize, my beautiful audience, but I do thank you for your patience. But look, being a starseed and being someone that what we do online, and what we say and how we speak our truth, which we're not afraid to do, because, I know for one that I live outside the framework of three-dimensionality already. I've known this since I was 14 years old, since I had near-death experience, okay? But being a starseed and being on mission and doing what we're doing, awakening now to my potential, and knowing that it's always been in here, makes me dangerous. And that also makes me, to a degree, a target to the deep state. And they do use psychotronic weaponry on me. I've, as I said, muscle quakes in the past, migraines, all sorts of things. I've had my router, weaponized, where it's, just crazy, where it just emits frequency in such a way that you have to just turn it all off. But still, at the end of the day, you're still left with the frequency going on in your head, and it's just pounding away, and it actually lights up all these glands at the back of your head, and it just comes around into your temple and everything, and into your eyes. Oh, just debilitating to the point where I'm almost hit my head on the tiles in the shower, because it's just so sore. Not that I do that, but you get what I'm saying. It's not fun. This isn't a career for any of us. This does take risk, to a fair degree. And for anyone that's trying to get in it for fame or fortune, or just trying to make their mark on history by telling lies or bullshit to get themselves fame online, or to create a channel and subscribers or whatever, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Get out now and let the big boys who came to Earth and the big girls who came to Earth finish off the mission, because that's what we're here for. We ain't messing around now. We're winding up the clock, okay? winding up the clock. Mission time is almost over, and I'm going to also prove something else to you just before I go as well. Not prove, but just talk about just briefly. Now, recently, I heard on Dr. Salla's one of his recent podcasts with, I think it's George Cavasilis, from Australia, also another great researcher, respect. Okay. George revealed that there's a website that he actually relayed to Dr. Salla during his presentation, and I wrote that down and went and had a look at it. And that particular website is called IlluminatiInfo.com. Now, when you hit the home page, you'll be met with a big blue pyramid, okay, and each level from the capstone down to the base stones at the bottom, each one of those stones leveling all the way up to the top is a different button. Now, I don't know, I can't remember exactly which button it was because I was so excited when I saw what I saw, okay? But I pressed on this button and it came up with a clock, okay? Now, that clock is this one. Check that out. Does that look awfully familiar to something that we've seen before? It sure does to me, even though it's just artistic expression used on a website. Okay, I want you to pay attention to the fact that it actually almost looks reminiscent, close to what we saw in the movie Tomb Raider with that idiot Angelina Jolie. Okay, the clock, the galactic clock that was hidden inside the clock under the stairs that her father had hidden from her, and she not knowing that her father was actually a right-hand master, 33rd degree Freemason, and part of the Illuminati. Yeah, see how they like to prop up the Illuminati in movies and make them look good? Yeah. So this particular thing that we see on screen is almost identical to what we see in the movie. And we also see the timing at the bottom in what looks like day or hour, what it looks like years, days, hours, minutes, seconds. Yeah, years, hours, days, seconds. Or, yeah. But what this tells me, looking at it, considering it's on a site called IlluminatiInfo.com, is that they were obviously trying to count down something. Now, what could that be? Well, I'm going to relay to all of you now what I personally think, and I think a lot of others out there in the actual truth disclosure community could also probably acknowledge as well, is that they like to try to keep track of time, movements of the planets, stars, etc., but also trying to calculate the possible return of the Seba Heshmayim, being the grand armies of the heavens that shall return at the end of days. Now, as it says in early Sumerian texts, which were later taken and translated and used into the and put into the Bible by the Roman Catholic Church and rewritten, edited, redacted, rewritten again, God knows how many times over history, that no man or woman shall know the day or whatever of the second coming of so-called Jesus Yeshua, or the return of the grand armies of the heavens. Armies being plural more than one. Okay. Now, I believe that this clock counting down has basically reached zero because they have miscalculated when they thought they would actually be able to keep control over humanity. And they've lost control now. Because I mean, considering the world and what we're seeing going on, this is what I would consider to be prophesied in ancient Sumerian texts, and then has been later put into this so-called book called the Bible, okay, written in such metaphoric text in such a way that it leaves the reader confused, but only those who have actually known and read through history and gone through all the different civilizations to cross-reference this information to be able to tell for themselves and see through the truth, is that they've used this book in reverse projection in order to keep us in fear from the return of the grand armies of heavens, because they believe that we should fear God who is coming. Or it's in fact it's them who are in fear of God who is coming, when in fact it should be us that should be rejoicing for the promise that was kept that they returned. These are our brothers and sisters, the grand armies of heavens, plural more than one, being the Galactic Federation, the Earth Alliance, okay, Earth Military Alliance, okay, and the Earth Alliance on ground, okay, and the many star nations that are the conglomerates working together with the Galactic Federation. That is plural more than one. We also have Solar Warden, okay, part of our SSP groups. That is plural more than one. Grand armies of heaven. Now, they are returning with who I consider to be the creator, plain and simple. God. They said it in the Bible that God shall return with the grand armies. Well, that is who I consider to be Prince Ea, Enki, guardian of Earth. Okay. Now, I do believe that this is actually what they have been in fear of all this time and have used this in reverse projection on us to keep us in fear of their return. It is absolutely the reverse of that. So take solace in knowing that who is returning is going to be, it's going to be a grand celebration, because this is the freedom of humanity that we've all been awaiting. But at the same time, we on Earth, our star seeds right here, we're doing the groundwork. We're the ground crew, doing the work and actually bringing the information out to show you the truth that has been purposely hidden from you to stop you from learning, growing, evolving, ascending to what you should be, what we were created, intended to be eventually. Okay? We were originally created in perfect form. We were interfered with by the Sakar Draco Empire, had interjected DNA to impurify our DNA, to take us away from what we were, and introduced a reptilian brain, creating a hybrid species, which is what we basically are to a degree. We have the fight or flight reptilian brain in the human form, okay? It's a matter of choice now, okay? We have to overcome that DNA, that rewriting of that DNA, okay? As much as it's still going to be there, because part of us has been introduced, it's been there for tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, okay? We have to overwrite that. We're in the process of that. And I believe that our DNA, the very thing that scientists like to call junk DNA, is what I call inactive DNA. Because remember, it was once said by Jesus Yeshua that as I have done these great things, so shall you, and more. Okay? Those great things that he did: walk on water, heal the blind, give the deaf hearing again, healed leprosy, all sorts of really cool shit. He turned water into wine. Okay? Yeshua was one of the grooviest dudes I ever knew, because why? He had activated DNA. He had access to things beyond the normal scope of what normal humans would be, because he was the son of the Father. He believed, he knew who he came from. Okay, his father was Enki. It's beautiful. Our DNA, we are going to have these great things and more, he said. So that brings us to, them returning now, and us being in contact eventually, because eventually with that contact comes rejuvenation, return to being whole self, is what they call everlasting life in the Bible. Okay. And that comes with what they call Medbed Technologies, and the actual overlaying geometric blueprint of the original human form, Adamic blueprint, geometric form, and Eve blueprint, geometric form, to be overlaid over any male or female, to create and generate us back into the original forms that we were supposed to be, in a sense, genetically, the perfect human that he created, okay? Plus healing all ailments at the same time. I've just heard recently through Dr. Salla's recent podcast, I'll leave a link in the description below as well for that, that apparently medbeds, like I previously reported on my channel here at Starseeds Down Under, that medbeds have been rolled out from the moon, from the LOC, Lunar Operations Command, to specific bases here on Earth in the US and in Japan, to be used at a later date. Well, it turns out, thanks to Dr. Salla and his intel, and those that are feeding this information to him, that I'm able to relay and bring on and inform all of you with, is that those medbeds are now being used for ex-service men and women that have been subjected to IED or loss of limbs in any sort of circumstance. So in other words, those that have lost their limbs in service to their country, okay, that have lived a life of detriment in the last God knows how many years, in pain and suffering, are now being healed in real time, regrowing full limbs, fingers, arms, hands, legs, whatever, okay, in a matter of minutes. They are being used right now on US bases and Japanese bases, I'd say, due to the report that I actually saw. I'm not sure which bases they are. Okay, I won't even try to speculate, but I do know that Dr. Salla has relayed that this information is true and correct and has been validated. Okay, so medbeds are in the possible rollout soon, but right now they're taking care of those that need them most. Okay, and that first of all has to be ex-women and men, service women and men that have served their country. And thank you for all that you have done, all of you, for all that you have sacrificed on the altar of war to protect your country, unfortunately being led into much more than you actually anticipated and losing so much in the process. For that, we honor you and we love you. And I hope that you get your lives back. If any of you in my audience that know anyone that has lost a leg or a limb or an arm or anything like that in war or IED, improvised explosive device, etc., and that you know that they have actually receiving this sort of treatment very soon. God bless you. I can't wait for you to have your families and your lives back and just everything that is yours. Bless you all. But isn't that unbelievable? All of this sort of stuff is rolling out, and I've proven it. Dan's proven it. He knows the information to be true in the sense that medbeds have been around for a long time. They've been suppressed, and they've now also been put in broad as well. Okay, he knows this information is true as well in relation to them being real. Okay, he's presented them on his channel before. But what do you think, everyone? I hope that I've been able to give you a proper apology and sincere, honest answer as to why things have been taking so long for me in relation to getting Dan over, and the other things that have been happening for me as well with my sister and partner moving in, and how it's had a bit of a health detriment on me, and how I've had to get myself back to where I am. But I'm on the roll. I'm on the back. I'm on the rise back up, everyone. But please, I hope that you are all doing well. I hope that my apology and my sincere answer has been sufficed to you, and that you haven't lost hope in me or the work that I'm doing. I just needed a little bit of time, and I do just thank you from the bottom of my heart, all of me, who I am, the love to you for just being patient and just not giving up and just sticking by me, okay? But I do promise you all that very shortly we will be with Dan, and he will be doing a great presentation for you all here at Starseeds Down Under. And make sure you please get your questions in and make sure you get them submitted as soon as possible, because Dan and I want to get this on the road, because he's only got a little bit of time left between now and this week to have available. And then I have a little bit of not so much of a window. He has other things he's got coming up, and we'll have to wait until that window reopens, which is no problem at all. But making sure that we get all this all sorted now. If we miss this window now, at least we're prepared for later, okay? But that also comes down to all of you working with me and working together, because that's what this is all about, everyone. Because I love you, and I'm sure you are starting to love me and how I'm starting to present myself. I ain't bullshitting like some other people that are out there trying to make a name in history right now. Excuse me, so I had to laugh at that. But you know I'm the real deal. I'm not sitting here to sit there and yank your chain. Okay, I've got real things coming up, real people I'm contacting, and I wish to bring them all to you because I love you and I love this information. I love awakening. We are not awake. We are in the process of awakening together, and we're getting to our future together. So I hope this has been a great little update for you all. I thank you all for being patient and being with me and taking that just time to listen to me today. And I hope you can join me soon for myself and Dan Willis and the beautiful presentation that we'll be putting together. Take care until then, everyone. I love you all. This is Chris signing out from Starseeds. Take care until then. And remember, unlearn and discern. Take care until then, everyone.